us that this really is fall. So let's get off to a good start with your weather first forecast and our.
Now at 9, the Leech Lake Band of Ojibwe suing 3M and other companies over forever chemicals. Then a new report finds a promising shift on office vacancies in downtown St. Paul.
It is well poised for revitalization.
Plus, Governor Walz claims President Trump's tariffs are destroying American farmers. We'll hear from some of those farmers. Then a Minnesota native named Taylor teams up with a very popular superstar also named Taylor.
The opportunity came about and I said, yes, absolutely.
And test rides at last on the long-delayed Southwest Light Rail extension.
This is Fox 9 News at 9.
Our top story tonight, a Native American tribe with ties to the Twin Cities is suing 3M and other companies over toxic chemicals. It is just the latest lawsuit against 3M involving chemicals known as PFAS. Fox 9's Mike Manzoni went through the court documents for us today. And Mike, the tribe is calling its findings alarming.
Randy, the Leech Lake Band of Ojibwe says it found nearly 24 deer contaminated with the chemicals. The tribe claims it also found PFAS in the public water supply there, as well as in fish and in lakes in northern Minnesota. And that is why it now uses bottled water at its tribal school up there. The tribe says it now must do further testing and find ways to get rid of the contamination. It says the chemicals are putting its members' health at risk and affecting its food sources and its tourism industry. The tribe's reservation is in northern Minnesota, but about a third of its members live here in the Twin Cities metro. 3M has faced thousands of lawsuits across the world over PFAS chemicals, which it started using in the 1950s to make popular products like Scotchgard. Those chemicals eventually contaminated water and blood worldwide. Now 3M says it plans to stop using PFAS chemicals by the end of the year. We reached out to 3M and other companies named in the lawsuit, but haven't heard back from any of them. 3M within the last hour or so did get back to us. It asked us a question, though. It wanted to know if we plan to do any stories on it in the future. Of course, we can't answer that question. Randy?
All right, Mike, thank you. Let's get you your weather first forecast now. This is a live look at Eden Prairie tonight, where we've seen a pretty rainy Tuesday overall. Chief Meteorologist Ian Leonard tracking when those clouds may disappear for us and bring some clear skies. Ian?
May being the operative word there. Yeah, the on and off rains all day today, Randy, anywhere between 2 and 3/10 of an inch. And we're not finished with the rain yet. A live look outside the saintly city, and it is soaked. 48 degrees right now with a dew point of 46. Look at the relative humidity. The atmosphere is absolutely loaded with moisture, and we're not quite finished squeezing it out after a cloudy, cooler, rainy Tuesday. More clouds than sun into the day tomorrow, not overly warm, and then Wednesday night we're right back into scattered rain showers before we warm up nicely. It is positively summer-like into the day Thursday and even into the day Friday. At this hour, a few light scattered showers around. We're finished with the drizzle as we head toward midnight. Then a little fog and some low-level clouds to remind you that Halloween is getting closer. We'll talk about how that weekend changes for the cooler coming up here at 9:30. Randy, we'll see you then.
All right. Thank you, Ian. A new report shows signs of revival in the downtown St. Paul real estate market. This comes as the city's central business district post-pandemic recovery has been a bit sluggish. Our So Young Kim breaks down what this could mean for the future of our capital city.
The president of the organization that released this report tells me she's seeing vacancy trends finally moving in the right direction.
St. Paul is not yet recovered, but it is recovering. And we're seeing that that stabilization is really noticeable.
Let's take a look at some of the findings. The Greater St. Paul Building Owners and Managers Association has been tracking the roughly 14 million square feet of downtown St. Paul's office inventory for decades. The latest BOMA report notes in 2020, the vacancy rate was roughly 18%. Then last year, the association says vacancy peaked at over 32%. This year, the report found the overall vacancy rate for competitive office space has improved slightly to roughly 31%. The association says this is a meaningful shift for St. Paul's downtown core.
It is in a state of transition, and it is well poised for revitalization. Really what I'm seeing is that coming out of the pandemic, there is some stabilization, and really that there are private and public partnerships in place to have everyone sort of rowing in the same direction.
And BOMA leaders say a big part of the challenge is the over 1 million square feet of office space left vacant by Madison Equities. Reporting in studio, So Young Kim, Fox 9.
A civilian employee for the St. Paul Police Department hit with felony charges has now been fired. This after airport police intercepted a package that tested positive for methamphetamine and did also a controlled delivery. They then observed 34-year-old Jaman Glass retrieving that package. Once inside, they seized 10 pounds of methamphetamine, over 1.5 pounds of fentanyl, and some handguns. Glass posted bond and is due back in court in December. The retrial of the alleged mastermind behind a heinous kidnapping and killing is now underway. This after Lyndon Wiggins' original conviction was tossed out on a technicality. During opening statements, prosecutors argued Wiggins orchestrated a plan to lure Monique Bao, a 28-year-old real estate agent, to a Maple Grove home for what she thought was a harmless showing. Instead, the mother of two was violently kidnapped and killed as part of a larger plot to kill her boyfriend. Meantime, the defense argued there was no rivalry between Wiggins and Bao's boyfriend, and the real killers, they say, are locked up. Stick with us for ongoing coverage of the retrial on air and online. Right now, Attorney General Keith Ellison is suing 2 Minnesota contractors accused of defrauding dozens of homeowners across the state. And as Corin Hoggart reports tonight, there could be more victims.
Yeah, they paid a contractor to fix up a flooded basement here, and he got the job started, but he never finished. So the basement is still a mess, and the AG's office says the same contractor has done this to at least 16 families in Minnesota.
This is our kitchenette.
The basement is a nightmare for the Wadarucha family. First a flood in 2023. Contractor Ryan Pytron helped them get a bigger insurance settlement, so they gave him the check for almost $17,000 and watched him replace the flooring. But then he ghosted them, leaving behind some of his equipment and a very big job they can't afford to pay someone else to finish.
We can't even repair the basement because he has $17,000 from us to, like, what would be used to repair the basement.
It's the deck spooking Amy McGuire and Matt Morrison. Contractor Earl Rowe took $27,000 and demolished a functioning deck, hillside stairs, and siding. He barely got the replacement project off the ground before disappearing.
It's not like he just tried and couldn't complete it. It was really deceptive. It was all about getting money, and he took it and ran.
The Attorney General's office says both contractors lied to people about being licensed. They say Rode took more than $1.2 million for at least 10 projects he didn't finish. Pytron abandoned at least 16 projects where he took almost $400,000. That does not include the Wadaruchas, but they were not shocked to hear Pytron is accused of repeatedly doing this.
But I am surprised because this is like such a ridiculous business practice to think that you can do this freely and nothing's going to happen to you.
I did try to reach these contractors, but both of their businesses have closed. In the case of Bode, the state has given him a lifetime ban on getting a contractor's license, and Pytron is banned from getting one until at least 2030. They could get steeper penalties because of the AG's lawsuits. Now, we also have some information on our website at fox9.com on how to protect yourself in these situations. In Maplewood, Corin Hoggart, Fox 9.
Mayors across the metro say if we can't change the state's gun law, allow them to do it. Hear how they say this would work coming up next. Plus, frustrations for Minnesota's farmers trying to sell their soybeans as the U.S. bails out their top soybean competitor.
Fox Local is how you stream Fox 9 on your TV for free.
In the wake of the mass shooting at Annunciation Catholic Church and School, mayors across the metro want cities to have the ability to pass their own gun bans if the state won't pass one. As Karen Scullin explains tonight, this comes as a special session looks less likely.
The issue kind of swirling around the proposed assault weapons ban has really been in the forefront of the conversation since the Annunciation church shooting. The mayors that gathered are proposing a set of policies that will ban public possession of assault weapons, ban switches that make any gun a machine gun, a ban on guns in libraries, parks, and rec centers, and require every gun to have a serial number, which is essentially a ban on ghost guns. They say if the legislation can't be passed at the state level, state lawmakers should repeal the preemption laws that prevent cities and counties from regulating firearms, ammunition, and related components.
We have asked, and we're asking again, for our state to either act and set those things into law statewide, or remove the preemptions that prevent cities from being able to implement these laws.
We must do something, and if state and federal leaders don't act and won't act, cities absolutely will. Cities will lead on gun violence protection in one simple way and one simple reason: we're the closest to the problem, and we are closest to the solution in so many ways.
If the state does not act to protect our children, I believe cities should be allowed to take action at the local level. It's very simple. Our children deserve better.
But today, Rob Dorr of the Minnesota Gun Caucus said these mayors know they can't take any meaningful action on the ordinances they're proposing. These measures are either entirely symbolic or legally unenforceable and will be vulnerable to court challenge. It may earn headlines and the praise of anti-gun activists, but it's not serious governance. And state Republicans have said that school security and mental health should be a big part of this gun safety conversation, adding that in terms of the cities having gun ordinances, it would make any law-abiding citizen a criminal when they cross a city or county line. So a lot to be worked out here. In the newsroom, Karen Scullin, Fox 9.
Well, the Minneapolis mayoral election is exactly 3 weeks away. Ahead of that time, we are inviting each candidate into Fox 9 all day to discuss their goals. Today's guest, Reverend Dwayne Davis.
I would not be running for the mayor of Minneapolis if I had not been a minister. It is because I've been a minister that I have had the privilege of accompanying people throughout their lives. And the one thing I just want to let you know is I love this city. One of the things is the people of this city. It's the abundance of riches in people, talent, creativity, beauty. All of these things are the things that I think animate me right now.
You can watch Reverend Davis's full interview and other candidates' interviews on our website, fox9.com. Ahead of the municipal election on November 4th, Minneapolis Elections and Voter Services demonstrated the accuracy of the city's voting equipment by randomly selecting machines today. The goal was to reinforce the public's trust in election integrity. We turn now to the ongoing government shutdown. This is a live look at our nation's capital on night 14 of this shutdown, as lawmakers warn it could be the longest in U.S. history. The longer the shutdown goes on, the more impact it has, including on airports. Because of that, Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem recorded a video message that she wants played at TSA checkpoints nationwide. Here's part of that.
Democrats in Congress refuse to fund the federal government, and because of this, many of our operations are impacted, and most of our TSA employees are working without pay.
Airports in Atlanta, Phoenix, and Seattle have already said they will not play that video because of what they call political messaging. Here at home, the Minneapolis Airport Commission confirmed they too received a request to play the video at TSA checkpoints, but they are evaluating the legal requirements of that request and are not playing the video until they have a decision on that. Right now, Governor Walz is criticizing President Donald Trump's decision on tariffs. In his words, destroying American farmers. As Rob Olson reports, a lot of the conversation revolves around China and Argentina.
So what we're asking for is end these trade wars, give us our farmers an opportunity to succeed. And
Governor Walz's words were very pointed, saying American farmers, particularly soybean farmers, are in deep trouble, and tariffs placed on China are the reason.
All of those things are at threat because of Donald Trump's ego. This is a ridiculous trade war. And as you heard it laid out, you couldn't write this and be more messed up than putting these tariffs on, putting our farmers at risk, our family farms at risk.
According to the USDA, China purchased over $12 billion in soybeans from U.S. farmers in 2024, far more than any other farm export. Continued buying until May of this year, but after tariffs took effect, well, since then, none. Instead, heavily investing in Argentina and Brazil.
We got to get something done. I mean, we don't have time. This is just stupid. It's just stupid.
John Bartman is a fifth-generation farmer in Illinois.
This year especially because of the tariffs that have been put upon us.
It is the star of a new ad that Democrats will run in 6 states, a campaign to target Republican representatives, even though midterm elections are still a full year away. The Trump administration insists tariffs will ultimately help farmers, in part by opening up new global